think Henry always was a little bit ahead of where other people were.
He was the outstanding student in the department, all A's.
He got a little ways into the graduate program, and the courses that he was taking, he really loved them, and decided he wanted to get a PhD.
Professor would mention him in meetings, and also he was taller than most people.
So he was ready to take the PhD prelim exam, and I had to go and talk to the dean because you're supposed to have a bachelor's degree before you take the PhD prelim exams.
Well, the history of the technology evolution of broadband that I was personally involved with really started when I got my first job after receiving my PhD from UCLA in 1980. I went to work in the defense industry at a company called TRW in Redondo Beach, California. And I was working on broadband military communication systems, satellite communication systems, radio communication systems for soldiers in the field, for example, and building these very complex, sophisticated systems. I worked there for 5 years, and it was a great experience.
I think Henry was so special is because his spending 5 years at TRW, he became an experimentalist because and a practical theoretician.
Then I went back to UCLA to become a professor in 1985.
The students loved him, and he was able to build a very large research group of students working on problems that were relevant to the sort of technology that was the basis for Broadcom.
He was able to tell the student, here is a theory, here is teach them about the theory, but he always bring an example from industry, truly where the theory could be used. That was not typical.
He's here because he still is, I think, listed on the faculty. I had him, for instance, on one of my recent PhD students. I had him come and serve on the PhD committee. So Henry, and of course his name's on the school.
It was clear early on in Henry's career that he had a wonderful ability to generate and, if you will, encourage collaboration. It was first demonstrated in working with his colleagues here at UCLA and the students that he supervised and that he taught. That capability was then manifest itself in the wonderfully structured business organizations that he created.
I think if you look back at the research we did in the early days at UCLA, this is myself, my colleagues, my students, it was focused on how to build these broadband communication systems in a very compact, cost-effective way using advanced integrated circuit technology.
No one has taken the technologies, the broadband technologies that were being used in the military, that were being used in other places, no one had the foresight to take those technologies and apply them to everyday use in everyday society. That foresight and that vision is what's making Broadcom successful.
And that really was the defining moment. I think the work we did in that research program at UCLA was the defining moment because we were able to prove these concepts out and taking these advanced systems and algorithms and put them in real high-performance integrated circuits that were cost-effective for commercial applications.
Taking analog signals and converting those analog signals to digital signals, primarily focused in digital television. Being able to do that and being able to implement that on set-top boxes.
Broadcom really got its start with Henry and some of the other technologists at the company doing the impossible. And what they were able to do is to do in a mixture of digital and analog circuits all integrated together, something that people thought was impossible. They thought it was impossible to digitally accomplish a lot of the tasks that were traditionally done with analog, and it wasn't common to mix analog and digital circuits together.
The use of the word impossible to characterize what Henry has done is totally appropriate.
People in industry said, oh, you guys are crazy, this will never work. We were trying to build these very high performance radios and communication circuits out of very average technologies. These CMOS technologies back then were not considered high performance enough or high frequency enough for radio communications. But we saw that it could be done.
We do what appears to many people to be impossible. And we take great pride in that. And when somebody, an engineer at Broadcom or someone else at Broadcom, does something that is remarkable, okay, a breakthrough, something that breaks new ground, we celebrate that.
His philanthropy has been a game changer for UC Irvine.
We have been able to hire faculty, bring faculty here that we would have never been able to bring forward on our own without the generous gift.
We had 0 endowed professorships. By the time I left UC Irvine, I believe we had 12, if not more.
Henry and his foundation and all the support that he gives to universities is crucial, because now that kind of innovation has to come from universities, not from research, big corporate research labs. And I think without that, our future is in question, right? Because who is going to invent the next transistor? Who is going to invent the next laser, and so on? And I think it's absolutely crucial that we have people like Henry to support that.
We're starting now, very interestingly, to see the convergence of these fields of medicine and technology in a very big way. If you look at where is the future of all of this industry going, it really is at the confluence of both of these fields.
The criteria for becoming a Marconi Fellow are very strict, very high caliber. And among the characteristics you need is to have broken through with the technology that has had impact on society.
Winning this Marconi Prize is truly humbling, because if you look at the list of names over the years who have been awarded this prize, it's the who's who of the history and pioneers of the field of communications.
You seldom find mathematical expertise and capability, engineering capability, and commercial enterprise capability. As a businessman, he was enormously successful and was able to bring to market the ideas that he germinated, created, and developed here in the university environment.
So he's a total, what shall I say, total engineer science, a fully total engineer science. He's a team by himself.
It's something I really have to pinch myself to believe that it really did happen. So I'm honored. It's a privilege for me to be part of this, and I thank the Marconi Foundation for recognizing me here today.